From the moment we are born, society begins to shape our minds, subtly guiding us down a path of compliance. From school bells ringing to the constant praise of conformity, the system of control is set in motion. Children are taught early on to follow orders, obey authority, and fit into a mold, often without ever questioning why. This early programming sets the tone for the rest of our lives, conditioning us to accept a certain way of being and thinking. The first steps of this process may seem harmless, a well-intentioned lesson, a polite nudge towards a proper life, but it's a slippery slope to a mind controlled by external influences. It's not just the education system that plays a part in this. The media serves as a massive tool for this subtle form of indoctrination. TV shows, commercials, and social platforms all contribute to shaping how we perceive the world, what we believe is important, and how we should behave. From an early age, we are bombarded with ideas of success, beauty, and worth, none of which are truly our own. Instead, they are constructed ideas designed to maintain a society where people conform to specific roles: consumer, employee, follower. It's a complex web of social conditioning that ensures compliance, making us think that our choices are free, when in reality, we are simply following a script handed to us. The idea of rebellion against this system can seem daunting, especially when the fear of failure or judgment has been ingrained in us. But the good news is that breaking free from this cycle starts with awareness. It begins with recognizing that much of what we believe and how we behave isn't truly ours. It's been programmed into us over time. The first step to breaking free is acknowledging this fact. Understanding that freedom comes when we decide to challenge these norms, question authority, and redefine what it means to live on our own terms. But how do we begin? How do we unlearn years of conditioning? That's the next step, and it's a crucial one. From a young age, we are told what to learn, when to learn it, and how to process information. The education system, with its standardized tests and strict curriculums, plays a pivotal role in shaping obedient citizens. It's designed to create compliance, ensuring that everyone fits into a neatly packaged mold, ready to join the workforce. What's often overlooked is that it stifles creativity, critical thinking, and individuality. Students are rewarded not for their ability to question the system or think independently, but for memorizing facts and regurgitating them when required. This process is a form of mental programming, where the objective is not to foster free thinking, but rather to create a generation that knows how to follow orders. Meanwhile, the media amplifies this conditioning by reinforcing what's normal, what's desirable, and what's acceptable. Every commercial, news story, and social media post subtly pushes us to conform. Think about how often advertisements tell you what you should look like, what products you should buy, and what lifestyle you should aspire to. We're constantly bombarded with messages that shape our self-worth, often based on external validation rather than inner fulfillment. These tools of indoctrination don't just influence our consumer choices. They influence how we think about success, relationships, and even our own identities. And what's worse, the media doesn't just show us what's out there. It shapes what we believe is possible for ourselves. But here's the thing. Breaking this cycle is not only possible, it's essential. As we begin to recognize the role education and media play in shaping our beliefs, we start to see how deeply entrenched these influences are. However, real freedom begins when we stop accepting everything we're told at face value. It starts with questioning the narratives, choosing what to consume wisely, and unlearning much of what we've been taught. The first step to reclaiming your mind is understanding that it has been hijacked, and once you grasp that, it's time to rewrite your own story. This is where things start to get exciting, because now you can start thinking critically about the world and your place in it. And once you see through the illusion, it's like waking up from a long, deep sleep. Consumerism isn't just about buying products. It's about buying into a lifestyle that keeps you in a constant state of need and want. From the moment we're born, we are taught that happiness comes from acquiring things: clothes, gadgets, cars, homes. The more we buy, the more we are told we'll feel complete. But here's the catch. It's a never-ending cycle. The more you consume, the more you're told you need. It's a system designed to keep you distracted, perpetually seeking the next best thing. The fear of not having enough, not being enough, is subtly programmed into us. And through this, consumerism becomes a powerful tool for maintaining obedience. What's more, fear is a cornerstone of this system. Think about the fear-based programming we encounter daily. The fear of not fitting in, the fear of missing out, the fear of being left behind. Media, advertisements, and even our educational institutions often amplify this fear. It's a fear that drives people to work harder, consume more, and keep up with an ever-shifting definition of success. In reality, this fear doesn't protect us. It controls us. It keeps us in line, reinforcing the idea that we must always strive for more at the expense of our true happiness and independence. We're conditioned to fear lack, to fear judgment, and most importantly, to fear not being good enough. But here's the truth. Breaking free from this cycle requires a radical shift in mindset. It's about rejecting the idea that your worth is tied to what you own or how you measure up against others. You don't have to fall into the trap of endless consumption. The key to reclaiming your freedom is to stop fearing scarcity and start valuing independence. When you remove fear from the equation, you realize that you already have everything you need to live a fulfilling life. Reframing your understanding of success, moving away from consumer-driven validation, will be your first step toward freedom. And once you realize this, you're well on your way to rejecting the system that's kept you trapped. The first step in breaking free from psychological conditioning is to recognize that you've been conditioned in the first place. It's like realizing that a puppet master has been pulling your strings, and you've been so caught up in the act that you never noticed it. Once you become aware of the forces that have shaped your beliefs, behaviors, and even your desires, the real work begins. It's about unlearning everything society has ingrained in you. Unlearning the idea that your worth comes from what you achieve, how much you consume, or how well you fit into someone else's mold. Reclaiming your identity starts with disconnecting from these external measures of success and embracing your own authentic path. The next challenge is to face the fear that comes with stepping off the well-worn path. Breaking free from the societal expectations that dictate who we should be is terrifying for most people. It requires rejecting the notion of approval and validation from external sources. It's about building confidence in your own decisions and actions, even when they contradict the norms. And this is where true power lies, in the ability to choose what resonates with your soul instead of what the world tells you should resonate. It's about becoming the architect of your own identity, independent of the societal labels that have been placed upon you. One of the most powerful tools for this transformation is critical thinking. Instead of mindlessly following the narrative, start questioning everything: the stories you've been told, the values you've been taught, and the very definition of success. Dive deep into the concept of self-worth and begin redefining it on your own terms. This journey won't be easy, but it's necessary. And when you start to reprogram your mind, breaking free from the chains of conformity, you'll experience a sense of liberation you never thought possible. Your identity is yours to reclaim, and once you realize that, there's no going back. True freedom begins the moment you realize that you don't have to live according to the system's rules. It's about shedding the layers of societal programming that have been placed upon you and stepping into your own power. Most people never fully experience this kind of freedom because they're too busy chasing goals that have been set for them by others. They live for approval, for success in the traditional sense, and for the next shiny object. But true freedom isn't about having more. It's about having the clarity to choose your path, live intentionally, and align your life with your own values. It's about no longer being a puppet of social conditioning, but being the creator of your own life. Living with purpose beyond the system is about letting go of the distractions that keep you tethered to the norm. It's about redefining success and choosing what brings fulfillment, not what society tells you should bring fulfillment. When you stop looking for validation in external achievements, you begin to find true peace. This shift in mindset takes practice, and it requires you to continually evaluate what matters most to you. Are you living for the approval of others? Or are you living to fulfill your own unique purpose? The freedom that comes with this realization is nothing short of transformative. The key to awakening is to embrace independence, knowing that your true worth is not defined by your job title, the car you drive, or the number of followers you have. It's about stepping outside the matrix and building a life that truly resonates with you. This is where the magic happens. When you free yourself from the need for external validation and begin living according to your own authentic desires. Once you've had a taste of this freedom, you'll never go back. You'll realize that living with purpose isn't just a possibility, it's your birthright. And the world will begin to open up to you in ways you never imagined.